This year at CitizenCon 2021, we had a Star Citizen gameplay demo that showed a mission that we will supposedly have in our hands in the near future, and 3 ways to approach it. I'll give a bit of a summary of the gameplay and what's going on here. The mission is set in the Pyro system at Pyro 3, and it's apparently not faked. This is something that's going to be very much in our hands. This is work in progress, yes, and they're doing some more to it, but this is something that we will actually have. A nice reveal at the beginning is that we started on the newly revealed 400i, which is going to be available in Alpha 3.15. The mission that we have to do here on Pyro 3 is to acquire the Hadesian artifact. The planet has a thin, breathable atmosphere, lightning as well is going on. The clouds here are the first that we have seen above a terrestrial planet. So I think that's quite cool to see. We're going to have sort of weather coming in the future, and the clouds here, they've been affected by the particular atmosphere and wind conditions and all that sort of stuff that's going on here, and it's going to be different from planet to planet and their own unique atmospheres. The new colonial outposts, which are coming into the game in the not too distant future, are very much being shown off here. There are going to be loads of outposts for different factions and areas that you can build rep with in the future, and this is just one of them. The outpost has missile defenses for anti-air, and based on their reputation with you, well, they might immediately shoot you, and they might let you in to trade with them, they might love you and give you discounts on their goods, but it's going to be very much based on their rep with you, what they think of you, what you've been doing in the area. Are you a murderous monster? Are you a well-known trader? Have you been helping them out for a long period of time? You might not want to land too close if they do not like you. There are NPCs walking around on the ground here and manning little stalls and outposts and guarding doors. There are a load of different buildings, and the character moves towards one of the larger buildings, which is the major social hub building here. People are moving around here, cooking, relaxing. There are security guards too, though. They show a new backpack and hair on the character model. The hair actually looks really, really good, and backpacks are going to be their own separate little things. The interior areas here are pretty worn down, but they're comfy and livable. The trading areas have giant piles of spice and cool things to sort of like be shown and that are on offer to potentially purchase. They approach a trader there that has the artifact they want, and then they buy the Hadesian artifact from this guy for 5 million Alpha UEC. That's quite a lot of credits. That's a couple of ships sort of amount of credits. Now, they said that we might be able to find these sort of super rare artifacts, Hadesian artifacts, around the verse, and there may be missions to acquire them for then other missions or to make even more money. However, there are different ways of playing that mission, and that was just one. So they enter the traders area via a different route, but they are going towards the trader again. We see sort of different aspects, different areas of the building, but they go up to the trader, they check to see if the artifact's on the shelf, and it's just behind him, and instead of paying the 5 million, they decide to just shoot the trader instead. Not even a takedown, nothing so clean, it is just sort of all out carnage. So they take out the nearby guards, pew pew pew, and then grab the artifact. That's mine now. And then they decide to leave by some nearby vents. So there's lots of other ways of sort of exiting the building and entering the building and going around. Civilians are cowering or trying to get away. Security forces and the more brave civilians, they're trying to stop the character. They're pulling out guns and that sort of stuff. But this character is pretty well armed. Now they run towards the ship. They get back to their ship, take off, but they haven't disabled the AA guns, and they need to be firing out a load of chaff and flare to survive from those new AA turrets and those missiles, and they don't. They get shot down. However, there is another version of the mission they showed, where they start the mission all guns blazing. Well, I suppose not all guns blazing. They do it very stealthily. I suppose the previous attempt was all guns blazing. They got in and then like, what's my exit plan? I don't know, to die. But yeah, so this one, much more stealthy approach, and it was much longer, so I'm going to skip bits of it that are just walking around slowly. So the first thing, he scopes out the place, has a look around, takes out an NPC with a sniper shot once he's happy that he's got all this sort of like a room he knows where to go, he knows where to walk to. They approach from a sort of different area entirely this time as well. We sort of like see a more farming-esque area. Really like some of these little modules and things that they would need to be self-sufficient as a little community as well. So it's a different time of day as well. NPC schedules are very important for the game. And at different times, NPCs will be doing different things. They may be eating, they may change schedules, there may be a quick break in some of the guards' patrol routes. They walk about the facility, they have a look in some of the windows, and then eventually they get on the roof after taking out some of the guards that are sort of just in the way. The silencer that he's using on his pistol is clearly very effective. Future silencers very good at silencing weapons. They seem unaware. I do think in the future that NPCs will react to sounds still a bit better than this, and they will notice people going down next to them and screaming and going, ah, or whatever. So bear that in mind. I do think this was a little bit like stealth mechanics aren't really here yet. But he clears the section of roof he's on, and then goes up to one of the civilian bodies and loots the gear from them. So he grabs a gravity tool from him. But he could have grabbed his outfit as well if he wanted to sort of pretend to be one of the guys there. But yeah, grabs the gravity tool, uses it to build a platform on the other side of the roof, and then get up onto an area that would otherwise be inaccessible. They then silently take down another guard before entering and going up further on the roof to the sort of like top of an area, and then show some more interesting stealth mechanics by getting a can of drink and throwing it, using it to sort of distract the guard, and then using that opening to jump across onto a different section of the building, go into the rooftop hatch, and slide down the ladder. They're now in the garage. There's lots and lots of cool ground vehicles and stuff there that maybe you'll be able to loot in the future. But there's a loot container up on the rafters. They sort of want to reward players for exploring. Though I would also say, why would it be up in the rafters? There might be a reason for it being up in the rafters, but games like Fallout have a reason to have all these different things in different areas. And there's sort of like a narrative experience. When you look at a scene in Fallout, there'll be stuff that explains what is going on, even if you don't necessarily know. But if you spend the time to sit there and go, why is this here? They will sort of tell you. Now, maybe I'm asking for a bit too much, but why would someone hide their stuff up on the rafters? Why not just hide it in a lockbox nearby or somewhere else? Or bury it, I don't know. Maybe it does make sense. So they take out ever more guards in this area, and then when they're done with that, they proceed through an internal airlock into another area, and then they weld open a floor panel. So they're now under the floor in the sort of like foundations, like little caverns underneath the buildings there. They, for some reason, follow the blue wire. I'm not sure why they're following the blue one, but it seems to be the correct way to go, via this sort of like slightly mazy catacomb system. But they come up in another living area. They open a hatch there, bam, and they go, oh, and shoot a guy that's living there, who's having a wash. They steal his clothes from another loot container that was nearby. Now they're a little more disguised, and the AI shouldn't notice them as quickly as the idea in the future anyway. So you'll be walking around potentially disguised as someone. If you make a sort of like a lot of noise and they come over and really inspect you, they may go, hang on, you don't work here. But they use this disguise to move through the facility and into the trader's bedroom from earlier. They just shoot the trader in the back of the head. Now, that might not have been the best idea, because the artifact is probably in the nearby safe, and we don't know the password. So they look around the room to go, where could this password possibly be? Check the body, all that sort of stuff. And then they find a clue on the shelf. And basically it says the password is 1234. Of course it is. Then they can actually hold the clue in one of their hands and go to the safe and input it. And they could look at the clue at the same time. That's pretty cool. They open the safe. They get the Hadesian artifact. Woo! That was 3 different ways of doing the same mission. And there may be many, many other ways of doing that. I mean, I would have liked to see him C4, for example, the AA turrets. Like, I think that if you're going through the second sort of route where you're just getting in there, then going guns blazing to get out, maybe have an exit plan that involves you surviving in your ship. I think I would have also quite liked to see him ride out of the garage in a stolen vehicle or something as well to his ship that he parked elsewhere. As I said, that should be near future gameplay, something that will be in our hands in the not too distant future. The outposts and stuff like that they showed are steps towards player bases as well, and I'm very excited to see them in game. There's a huge amount more content that we are doing for CitizenCon, lots of more different summaries. That was just a section of one of the panels that we were talking about there. But we'll cover loads more in the coming days, so please stay tuned for that. But what do you think? Did you enjoy this year's gameplay demo? Were you expecting to see something a lot more? I like the fact we were in the Pyro system and in a new planet, effectively, but we didn't really see much of the Pyro system, more of the planet itself. And obviously it was very pretty, and I like the new stuff. I like the 400i. I liked an actual mission that's tangible, that had different ways of doing it. It was relatively basic, but yeah, near future gameplay is always going to get me more excited than something that is faked. And I think that things like the sandworm, they do want to have the sandworm in the game that they showed a while ago, but that was very faked at the time, and it's not something they can do for a while. Also, how would you have handled that mission? Would you have done it the just buy it route because you got all the monies? Would you have done it all guns blazing, run, get in, start blowing up the place, just get out as fast as you can? Would you have done a more stealthy sort of tactical approach, but taking out all the guards as you go? Maybe that's going to take a bit more time. Or would you have done it an entirely different way? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Some people say I shill for NordVPN, but listen to some of these comments that I just made up. I've never fed the love of a woman before, but then I got NordVPN, and that didn't matter. Doctor said I'd never walk again, but then I got NordVPN. Now I've been running marathons. Also, I got robot legs around the same time. They might have helped somewhat too. I was a tone-deaf pirate, but after getting NordVPN, I'm able to play the saxophone. Go on, Zin, try and animate all of this. Click the links below to get NordVPN. It might lead you to a more fulfilling life, but more likely, it will just help protect you from the terrors of the internet. What ship are we giving away in October? It is one of the most exciting ships we've given away, and one of the most popular. It's the Argo Cargo. So many people liked it, we thought we'd give one away, instead of a Mercury Star Runner, or a Carrack, or something else. You can do fun things, like fly around a planet, or fly very slowly into the sun. And it also makes my top 16 ships that I liked in the ship showdown this year. Me and Zin are sort of on holiday for a week, so we had to quickly film a ship giveaway, so we do have CitizenCon coming up, and we might have some other things going on the channel that will make it worth your while commenting, so do what you want. I'm not your dad. You should definitely press the join button below my videos, though, and you should certainly like and subscribe, and bell bother. Click on the bell. I don't know what it does, but it makes me money somehow. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Thanks very much for watching, though, and I'll see you in the next one.